name is Sarah Kruger and I'm a director in Deloitte in our UK consulting business.
I'm Cláudia Santos and I'm currently product director at Farfetch.
What are the advantages of working in tech?
I think the way we change how others live, how others work, that's for me is also something really positive. Because currently no one works without a computer, without a system, and we are the ones behind that, right? We are the ones behind how others are performing their jobs. And I feel somehow we are guiding a lot of how the world is run. I feel a lot of power behind that, and then that really motivates me to be able to change how someone perform on their day-to-day, improve their day-to-day, improve, so doing a release, and their job, their day will just become better. And this is something that we can do, and I think that's a good impact to have.
For me, it's solving a problem. For me, it should never be technology just for the sake of it. I really want to understand the why. And I think sometimes that does get forgotten in search of that perfect. There's a great quote that complete today is better than perfect tomorrow. As many quotes in that. I think we strive for that perfectionism and you can actually never deliver. And sometimes people will often go off and engineer something and you ask them, well, why are we doing this? What was actually the client's requirement? And they'll be like, oh yeah, can't remember. So I think it's understanding the why, understanding your client's problems, and you are problem solving every day. So that would be my number one, I think, attraction to technology.
Why is it important more women get into tech?
I think overall it's for the balance, right? And I normally say, so for example, during this pandemic, we were always in need of talking more about emotions, about how we are feeling. And this is something that we, and normally, I'm not saying that men are not doing it or cannot do it, right? We are who we are, but normally a woman is someone that will do that since the start, by heart, very honestly. I feel that we bring that, and that is really, really important for tech, because a tech environment can be quite a cold environment, and it's okay if we don't bring that, if it's not part of our personality, but normally, in general, that's what we can bring. The sensibility, all of that part is something that brings balance, and I think balance it's good for everything, for the workplace as well, for the project team as well, and I feel that on my team, that balance, and I have the team split between women and men, a few more women, but nothing conscious. It happened, but that balance is really important to guarantee that we have all type of conversations, all type of discussions.
How did you feel being a minority studying for a computer science degree?
There was two of us on my computer science degree. And so right from the get-go, it was very difficult, and lots of things that people don't realise. I think one of the great things is the conversations we're having now and our awareness to this, and exactly like Code First Girls are trying to do. So I think coming into the industry now, I hope you'll have quite a different experience. But, you know, from there being two of us and just being more recognisable. You know, I didn't have my own identity. We were known as Porter and Smythe. I went round, there was two of us for 3 years. We were sort of this combined entity. And the rest of the candidates on the course were men. And they didn't think we were capable, quite frankly. You know, I still remember comments. I was learning pointers in C, and you know, I'd never sat down and even programmed a computer at that stage. And one peer acquaintance said to me, "Well, of course you don't get it. You're a girl. You're too stupid to understand pointers." I mean, it's that stark. It's been that, you know, you've sort of had experiences where it really is. You're not the expected stereotype of a boy sitting in a room. I think, fortunately for me, it almost brings out a determination in me. Maybe called a bit petulant, but it's almost like, right, despite you. But I think you do have to be, or I feel like I've had to be quite determined. There's lots with these conversations. I find it both sad and fascinating for myself, reflecting on my career and how I got here, and how many things almost, I'm a bit of a cliche. I mean, how many boxes I can tick to say, yes, had that experience. Almost wishing I'd spoken up more, but I think there's only been, lots of people using this as self-awareness. I've certainly, lots of things I've only become more aware of as the conversation is broadening, which is fantastic.
What advice would you give to women who are studying computer science and are a minority in their classes?
So we were 10%. We were 10 girls joining that male class, and at the end, a few of them decide to go to another route. So we just finishing the course after 5 years. We were, I think, 5 out of almost 100. As a girl, what I feel is that we really need to have a lot of confidence in ourselves, because being in those environments where we don't have a lot of representative, we begin to put some doubts in our heads. Should I be here? Is this the right place for me? And that's what I feel that a community like yours is really, really important, because we can see examples. We can see others that have done the same path as we are aiming to do and have the right confidence to continue. Even if we are not a majority, even if we don't feel represented there, we know that we will be able to contribute and to be well placed in that area. And today I'm more than convinced. I know by heart that this area needs us, needs women, needs our sense of care, needs all our attributes as women that are needed to this area. So that's why I'm more than keen to support initiatives where we can provide examples, we can give confidence to others that will.
How do you ensure your tech team fosters a culture of inclusivity?
A lot of it is just is reflection, constantly looking at, it's one of the reasons that we've partnered with Code First Girls. Again, it's an obvious one that we lack diversity there, the tech industry does as a whole. To make sure then it's a very inclusive environment to work in. I think some of that hopefully comes from giving everybody, for me, I believe, an opportunity to speak up. So perhaps if you're in meetings, just making sure that perhaps those are a little bit quieter, a little bit more nervous. And again, this isn't always correlated straight with gender bias. You have very confident women as well who will speak up. So at that point, it can just be anybody. It's just going round the room, trying to make sure everyone feels included, make sure everyone feels that they're. I think it's even important when someone does speak up that you show that you've actually listened to them, and always show that you've considered their idea or their feedback, even if it isn't the one that we're going to go with. At least explain to them what the rationale is, so they don't feel like they're just being dismissed. Because I think very quickly, if you do that, you'll find they won't speak up in the next meeting either, or if you're told, just be quiet, we haven't got time for that. How quickly, especially if someone isn't so confident or early in their career, very quickly can just sit quietly at the back of a room then and won't contribute, when there could be so many ideas that you're missing out on from that person, which would be such a shame.
What advice would you give to any woman facing imposter syndrome?
Find someone you can talk with, and share what are you feeling, what are you experiencing. And I think that will show us that you are not alone, you are not the first person going through this path, going through these attritions, and that will give you the confidence that you need to believe in yourself and move forward, even in those moments that you feel that maybe I don't belong here, maybe it's not the right path for me. But I think finding someone who you can discuss and talk about those feelings, those experiences that you are having, it's really good. It's really good, and I think we can apply this to a lot of other different scenarios in life.
What strategies can be used to empower staff and encourage upskilling?
I think any kind of process that Google run a forum, I Am Remarkable. I did it once. It was an incredibly uncomfortable position. You had to sit there and say, I am remarkable because, and it was just dying a little bit inside. So, having to go in and sell yourself and shout about what you're good at and be this really confident person is extremely difficult to do. So I think the kind of processes and into, if you're going for a promotion, things like that, more the idea, I think, now of going into a room and having to sort of really be challenged and almost like try and catch that out, anything that's going to be super intimidating in that environment. So I think it's more trying to change our processes to give all, but obviously focusing on women, but a chance to shine. Not trying to catch them out, but really sort of put them in an environment where they feel safe to be proud of what they've done and show and really shine and show what sort of qualities and skills they've got.
If you could share one word of wisdom to your younger self, what would it be?
Self is just believe in yourself. Always do what you like and what motivates you, because that will take you to where you want to be. I think don't stay quiet, just doing one day after the other, but pursue the dream. And again, a similar advice to what we spoke before, but find your peers. Find someone you can have discussion. Find someone that is facing the same as you. Sometimes it's not only finding a mentor, someone that is already in a position that you aim to be or that you admire, but also find someone that you can have a really sincere conversation and is going through the same as you. And that will give you the support you need to believe, to motivate you, and to have the strength for you to pursue the dreams and to go ahead with your ambitions.
You can do it. Simple as that, really. And you are as good as your colleagues, and you can be the best person for a role irrespective of gender. And gender, ideally for me, gender should never be a factor. I ideally want to be considered that I am just the best person for the role, and I think it's have confidence in yourself that you can do it.